How's the attendance been? Like, has it been growing?
It's actually been pretty good. And we were shocked for like the holiday season because we thought it was going to slow down drastically because, you know, people travel and then it's like, oh, you know, they're going to go see their families. They're probably not thinking about dancing.
Yeah.
But we've actually still had a good amount of people showing up. So that's been really nice.
Yeah.
I know, dude.
It's growing.
Prior years, like seeing the growth, December, January have been like dead, bro. Like one or two people, and those are like the diehards.
Yeah.
I'm like the first class of the year, we had a good like, and this is the numbers are in relation to our dance, right? So I'm like, we're not going to compare them to bachata events.
Oh yeah, that's not fair.
Right, not fair.
But we had a good like 15 students on the first class of the year.
That's really good.
Which compared to where we were years ago, bro, again, one or two people.
Right.
Like,
dude, that's like a private lesson though. Like I like, I can just ask stupid ass questions and just like pester you guys and just
right. We used to tell people that too when they'd come in and be like 1 or 2. We're like, you get a private.
I know, especially if it's like $10 for attendance. I'm like,
the value,
God.
dude, the value.
I know. It's like, that's the cheap ass in me. I'm like, dude, I'm getting privates every day.
Yeah. I'm like, and they had a fun, right? When we were all just doing it slow key because I mean they just got dialed in info.
Right.
So they're just solid.
Specific to them, so it helped a lot.
All right. So welcome, guys, back to a new podcast. We got Destiny and Fernando with here us today. They do a little bit of Urban Kiz, kind of like, I know that you did some other stuff in the previous, like, 2017. I'm sorry, I was like, this morning I was like looking through your stuff. I got to know my research real quick.
The last second. Who is Destiny?
Who's Destiny? Who's Fernando? And then Fernando didn't post a lot of stuff, so I was like, all right, I guess Destiny's the one that I'm gonna have to do research.
She got the Instagram history.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But Destiny and Fernando, and then we got Jose, Will, and then me, Antonio.
Yeah. So I know you guys are growing the scene in Arizona with Urban Kiz, and we want to talk about that. Most especially reached out to you guys because of Ross and Jahaira, who we had on in the past. And I know you guys have been doing this for a few years. You were just talking about the growth that you guys just experienced compared to other years. So how long have you guys been doing this? And yeah, how has the journey been so far?
Yeah, so we've been teaching since 2021, summer 2021. That's when we started. So when we started, I want to say that first class, there was like hype behind like, oh, Urban Kiz is back because this was after the pandemic. And then people were like, oh, let me try it. So those first couple classes, we had a good amount of people, but then it like dwindled down like completely. Yeah. And so from where we were then, we probably had like 5 students, would you say, after it dropped?
5 students of... What do you mean?
That came consistently to class.
Yeah. We had like 5-6 diehards of people that were just like, we're in, don't stop the classes, even though the numbers are low. They're like, we want to be doing this. Are we allowed to curse here? Yeah. Yeah, we're allowed to do this shit, right?
Right.
So I was like, please don't stop. We're gonna keep showing up. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
You know, because after the numbers dwindle down a little bit, it's a little discouraging.
Right. There was sometimes where we would even show up and there would be no one.
No one.
We would show up to class, there would be absolutely no one. It would just be me, Fernando, Rosh Tahar. We're like, all right, we're going to have a training session. Let's go ahead and train. And now, so it's crazy to see like where it was then to now. Like the last weekender we had 25 students in the weekender. So the studio, you know, you guys seen that little studio. So the little studio was packed. And we were just like, oh my gosh. Like it's crazy to see the difference. The growth.
And I think maybe we'll talk about this later, but I think like one of the cool things about us as a dance school is the intimacy. That's what all the new students that end up sticking around, they're telling us. They're like, we like how this feels like a friend group and not like a fucking just like a class, you know? So I'm like, it's just crazy going from that. And then now we have the 5-6 diehards then, but then now we have like 10, 15 people who are just like locked in. They want to train. They want to get like really fucking good, you know? So yeah, man. Long story short, it's been like 2.5 years now for classes, right?
2.5 years of teaching. Yep.
Yeah, so I can imagine that it's pretty difficult seeing those numbers. And I know you guys take this seriously. You guys, it's like, I'm guessing you guys look at it as a business. You guys want to grow it. You guys have that intention of really growing the community. So what have been some of the struggles that you guys faced along the way?
So actually, funny story, we more so are not doing this for business. We really want to do this just to grow the community and for the love of the dance. Because when we started as students, we had Mike and Nikki that were teaching us, and they gave us a safe space. So it felt like a dance family. And so that's what we were trying to create with this community. It's not so much of like wanting to make money off of it, because you don't really make money off of it.
Yeah.
Like, and
Being honest.
And you guys know how it is with the cost. I'm like,
Right.
most classes nowadays are like $10 usually a pop, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have people that are getting paid, you have people, unless again you're bachata addiction or you're not making much money, you know. So for us, we started for sure just like, let's build this back up. We'll see where it gets, but it definitely wasn't about the money. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have it, but we're both professionals. We have incomes. We don't need the money. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we got to stay even. We also don't want to spend money just to do classes, you know? So that's what it's been, man. Even now, we don't really make any money. We're just reinvest back in the community. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So maybe later on, we'll start making it more businessy, you know? But right now, we're still...
Our main goal is just to get people to understand what the dance is and why we love it. And I think a lot of people are just assume like, oh, you guys are just walking. You're just walking around. And we're like, no, that's not what it is. Mm-hmm. And so our main focus and goal is to give people a safe space to dance and to understand why we fell in love with the dance.
Mm-hmm. When did you guys first start dancing Urban Kiz?
So back in 2017. 2017.
Maybe 2016.
Yeah. We've been dancing. Yeah, it's been about six and a half years now.
And then
to 7 years.
Previous to that, were you guys like dancing salsa and bachata, or what were you guys?
Yes. So that's actually what I started with. So that's how I got introduced to social dancing. Well, before that, previously, I danced hip hop professionally for 2 years.
That's what it was.
From there, one of my friends introduced me to social dancing. So I started with salsa bachata, and then back at DeSoto downtown. I don't know if you guys remember DeSoto days.
I never got to go there. I'm too
That was a
young,
vibe, dude. Back then.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I know.
No, it's just like I physically.
We're not seniors.
He was born back then.
I probably wasn't like even. I was probably just like playing with Legos or some shit. I don't know. It's just it's weird because like sometimes people will be like DeSoto. I'm like I don't know, dude. Like
Because when did you start with bachata and everything like that?
a year and a half ago.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
still
okay.
pretty
So
fresh.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah. So I don't know anything, and also I'm barely 22, so like I just turned 21. I barely started going out.
Oh, you're a baby.
What a good age man to start dancing, man.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But DeSoto back in the day, so that was like the spot. Everyone would go Thursday nights. So there was someone I seen dancing on the floor. They played Urban Kiz for the first time, and the floor cleared, of course, because not everyone knows it. So there's maybe like 1 or 2 couples doing it. And I remember I was like, what is this dance? And so we ended up doing more research into it, me and my sister actually, and then we started taking classes and started learning. So that's how I got into it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How did you?
It was the same for me. It was DeSoto night. And again, everybody went there, dude, because that was the vibe. Like, if you wanted to have a good, connected, vibey dances, that's where you went to. It was downtown Phoenix. It's right in a corner. And you had, like, the whole city view. They had glass pane windows and everything. Mm-hmm. And then, shout out Brandon from Machado Addiction. He dances Kizomba. I don't know if you guys know this. He dances urban and Kizomba. And he's one of the guys that started bringing, like, Kizomba dancers into the city a little bit. Along with some other people. But when I discovered it, he actually had an artist from out of state doing a special guest class there. And that's where I saw it first. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, what is that dance? They're dancing. And then they finish the class. It's super dope. I love the music, right? And then I see 2 people from the city dancing it. And so I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me talk to them, ask them where can I find this dance. And that was also Mike and Nikki, also her instructors that she had found. Mm-hmm. And then that's how we ended up meeting. We're just going to the similar classes and they just kind of fall in love with the dance, man. Yeah. I wish I could tell people how, especially once you get into it a little bit, how dope the dance is. You know, because it's like that same vibe, dude, that I was at DeSoto, just like, I'm sure you guys experience. Do you guys ever go dancing and it's just the night's like perfect? Like you're getting the best dances. You're like in your own kind of mood. You're just like, oh, I feel so good today. You guys ever feel that?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So you need to dance urban, it sounds
Hopefully
like.
soon, if not, yeah.
That's an experience.
Dude, the night is like perfect. Everything's just clicking. The steps are just clicking, the connections. And then Urban Kiz for me has captured that little pocket of dancing that I was doing and just kind of extended it into like a whole dance altogether. So I'm like, if I could keep that, because the more experience you get as a dancer, the more low-key kind of jaded you get about things, you know? You're like, oh, the music's different. I don't like this kind of music. Or, oh, I don't like this stuff.
A little snobby, huh?
Yeah, a little snobby. Yeah.
Oh, this floor is a little too slippery.
The floor's a little grippy today. Like, fuck, you know? But, dude, once you find that dance that you love, it's like, it doesn't even matter anymore. Just click. So.
That's tight.
Yeah, dude, it's been a while. And, just traveling all the time, having good experiences. So
yeah,
but it's been 7 years. It's crazy. We're getting old.
I know.
It's interesting. I make the connection to like the flow state, really, where if I could get a dance that facilitates my ability to enter the flow state, then I have that perfect night. You know what I mean? Just good vibes all around. You're in like the zone. You're just super social, super friendly, just enjoying almost every dance that you have. What do you think it is about Urban Kiz that allows you to do that for you? Because you said, if you're able to find the one that works for you, then that's just great. So what do you think it is about Urban Kiz that just makes that happen more frequently? And yeah, what is it?
Yeah, dude, that's a really good question.
I think, that is a really good question.
I can go first.
Yeah, you go first.
I think to me, dude, I think just the baseline of what Urban Kiz is already created in connection, if that makes sense. Like the dance starts almost in like a close embrace automatically, right? As you start learning more steps, then we start opening up the frame, we start doing a bunch of different stuff. But by nature, just the concrete level, the foundation is connection based. So already right off the bat, you're basically given all the tools to create that state. Like if you're a person that likes to connect with people and you like kind of forming that little bubble with you and your dancer and just kind of riding off, boom, the tools are like instantly there to do that.
That's true. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Piggybacking off of that, that was one of the things that drew me into this dance, was that there's a lot of like complicated cool steps that you can do, but there's some really slow, melty dances that you can have with someone, and it's crazy. I'm trying to think of like how to explain it. It's like you and your partner like melting together. Like when you connect with someone and you guys are just like vibing and you're in that space. I know to some people on the outside it might look like, oh, they're not really moving. But you and your partner, you're both connecting and you're feeling all their little micro movements. It's crazy. You just like zone out. And I think that...
And there are no drugs involved.
There's no drugs.
Yeah, this is just like...
This is just...
No drugs needed.
I was about to say, like, drugs are involved for me to feel that. And then that's cool that you can do it sober. That's like better.
Do it sober.
So like, if you do use drugs, would it be...
It'll be even crazier.
Yeah. Dude, if I danced while doing drugs, dude, like shrooms or something, I would fucking like...
Just like...
Start shifting into dimensions, dude. That's crazy.
Right.
You know? Because that's how it is. That's how it feels like. You just get in a good connection. And again, to people that don't know the dance, it just looks like we're just walking or we're standing. We're actually in like I would say we're like in a trance together with a partner. Yeah. We're kind of just figuring shit out, kind of feeling each other out. And all that's taking place in like a very like tight space, you know?
I think I want to make an observation here, a connection that I make immediately when you say it like that. I think about, because I'm really about the details or like the subtleties. Like the subtleties give so much. Like if you're able to tune into the subtleties, then it's like the sensitivity just amplifies everything. And I think that what you said about how just immediately it's dance connection, it's connection based, way more connection based. You're a lot closer. It's almost, and it sounds very intimate. That like closeness and intimacy, and the importance of like really paying attention to the subtleties. It kind of sounds like it really helps people like learn to focus or really be present. And I think that honestly, when talking to people in salsa and bachata, like I might not do all the crazy, the turn patterns and everything, but I just feel sometimes like the basic in itself, people talk about the basic, like being able to give so much in the basic through subtleties and the micro movements. If a person can connect with me at that level, then we're going to have an amazing dance, and the turn patterns will happen by themselves almost. So I think that that's something that the salsa and bachata culture can learn from just Urban Kiz and even Zook. Zook is a little more like musical also. And that's just what I wanted to add. What do you guys think about that?
I agree, man.
Yeah,
100%.
completely.
Yeah.
I think that's why even there's a lot of crossover between B-Zook and Urban Kiz dancers, and I think it's for that reason because they're both connection-based dances, and so it's really easy for one like an Urban Kiz dancer to try B-Zook because it's also connection-based, or B-Zook to try Urban Kiz because it's more in that realm of connection. So yeah, I would completely agree with that.
And like to what you're saying, where if you feel like you have just basics in a salsa bachata dance, like sometimes, man, like less is more. People go for the craziest, fanciest stuff all the time, but then they'll come out of the floor and they look exhausted and they just look tired and bored and like, okay, a bunch of moves with like zero substance, But if you can have the basics, like you're saying, but then they're super connected, they're super isolated, like everything's just hitting with your partner, there's connection, like per gram, dude, those are gonna have more weight compared to all the fancy stuff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the fancy stuff is cool and that's super dope, but if you're not even at least figuring out how to make the basics work, then what's the point? You're just throwing a bunch of, it's dead weight for no reason.
Right. Plus, I don't think that follows, at least speaking from my perspective, I enjoy more a dance where the lead tries to connect with me instead of just tossing me around. Or like when they let you go in salsa and they shine for like 5 minutes and you're like, all right, so are we dancing or you dancing by yourself? Like, what are we doing?
I've been doing it sometimes.
I'm like, all right, we don't connect now.
You guys don't.
Which is cool, But.
Yeah, you guys don't. So you guys don't dance salsa bachata anymore. What is there, or do you? First, that's like my first question, and then also like, what's the trade-off you're making when if you made that switch, why'd you make it,
So here and there, we still dance it. I'd say we're more focused on, because now we're teaching Urban Kiz, that's where our main focus has been. So we haven't had as much time to do salsa and bachata like we used to. But I do still enjoy those dances. It's just Urban Kiz has kind of taken over for me, just because of that connection in the dance. That just makes it more enjoyable. Yeah,
we'll still dance it. We'll step out and do social dancing in Phoenix here. Mm-hmm. Kind of hang out with our friends, just be out, but definitely doesn't hit as good as, the urban for us.
Personally.
Yeah, but we still like it. Specifically bachata and Brazilian zouk a little bit.
Why bachata over salsa or Brazilian zouk and bachata over salsa?
Salsa's just never clicked for me. Like I went to classes, I don't know. I think the music, I can't get into it. Like I like it and I respect it as like music, and it does hit like a little bit of that Latin kind of like craving that I get sometimes. But when I dance it, it doesn't feel like my brain wiring is like clicking with it, if that makes sense. It's just more like, okay, you're doing steps and the music's just kind of lingering in the background. I just don't click with it personally.
And I think that probably comes more from like that we're more connection-based dancers. Right. And so I feel like, not saying that you can't have a connection in salsa, but it's definitely different.
I'm just gonna say it. I like it.
They dance salsa.
Dude, you remember that one social in Mesa where imagine we had that conversation in the parking lot here. We're just all Brandon is like, okay, let's do the raffle, and then we're just in the back like, play the zouk music, play Kiz Info, we don't care about salsa.
That's true, dude.
We just lost like all our followers.
Dude, because we were vibing in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We were all just chilling there. It's like, there's going to be a raffle now. We're like, fuck.
Like, I remember that.
No, and then I just like kind of tagged on. I'm like, nah, I kind of like salsa too, but let me just like rag on it. Like, why not? Like, let me just try to fit in. Yeah, let me get immersed. Like, maybe this is like how I like get introduced to like urban
We'll be
kids.
fake over here.
I know, I'm so fake. I'm like, I'll switch up so quick.
It's looking funny, dude. Yeah. But I'm like, salsa's super dope, man. If you click with salsa and it's like, visually, salsa is like the coolest dance because it has all the most complicated, coolest dance moves, all the isolations. I'm like, damn, they look so cool to watch.
And it takes a lot of training.
It takes a lot of training. But in terms of actually feeling out the dance, personally, I can't click with it. Really? But I'll support people that can just like fully get into that.
Do you think it's just like the time you put in? Like maybe if you put more time into salsa, you'd like maybe get that like connection down the road?
I think, dude, to begin with, I need to enjoy the music. Like if I like the music, I can probably get into the dance. And when I started with bachata, I like the music.
Yeah.
Over the years, like it's to me, it's especially central bachata, speaking specific to that. It's got a little bland to me.
Yeah.
And so it kind of started drifting away. But with salsa, it just never even clicked. Like not even a little bit. Yeah. Like there's maybe one or two bangers out of like maybe like 100 that I'll hear.
Really?
That sound great to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know, right?
I guess like when I'm still new at everything, but yeah, salsa. When I first listened to it, it just seemed chaotic. I'm like, there's way too many instruments. Like I'm getting anxiety. Just do you agree?
Sort of, yeah. I think it's just more like salsa is just it gets so like at the base of it, like it can be really chill, really like especially like salsa romántica. Like if you dance that shit, you're just vibing the whole time. But I feel like oftentimes it just gets. People are so focused on like, oh, like let me try to get this, let me do that, and like let me do crazy shit that like this the essence of the dance sometimes just gets like overcrowded with that, and it kind of. So I don't know. I mean, I think salsa has like its moments where like it can be really like beautiful the same way like and like the essence of like connecting with somebody can be there, but it's just I think you have the crowd that like. Pushed it to where it's at right now, where it's like, oh, like these motherfuckers like did all the crazy shit. So then like if that's what's gonna bring me popularity or that's what like people are looking out for, then I have to do the same. And then it's like, well, fuck my basic, like let me do all the crazy shit. And I don't know, that's what I've always thought, and that's my theory behind it. But then again, like I've only been here like a year and a half, so
but that's a good observation.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Like for me, like just listening to music, it just seems so jarring, and then eventually like just getting my basic, and then listening to salsa music on its own, I started to appreciate a lot of the music.
I feel like salsa lyrics though are probably like.
Dark.
No, they're dark. They're like
pretty dark.
I feel like they're the best. Like salsa lyric, like the music, the lyrics of the music are probably the best compared to like bachata and like the other dances that I've heard.
Like what does a salsa lyric usually look like? What are they talking about?
It's just much more. I don't even know how to put it. Like it's just like you listen to banda?
Yeah.
Kind of like the same aspect of like where it's like it's more like very. Like to the heart and very much like, oh, like I'm pour out my heart for this girl, but then she like betrayed me. Or there's this one song where it's like te di. Oh no, that's bachata. Never mind.
The breaking heart part.
There's a lot of sad bachata lyrics too.
Yeah, bachata is really sad. But I don't know. I've always enjoyed like the words. If I'm ever singing, like I'd much rather sing a salsa song than like a bachata song because I feel like bachata is just like more like sensual and all that. And then Urban Kiz, I don't know the words because
they're in Portuguese.
Or I just hear a lot of Afro beats. And I like it. I actually like listening to it.
Like, that's my shit right there.
We love Afro beats.
Yeah.
And that's like a newer thing that's happened with Urban Kiz because Afro beats is getting so much more popular.
Yeah.
And so that music was like, hey, well, this sounds like Urban Kiz music. We can dance to it. It's got that backbeat that we can hit. And that's a newer thing, and I love it. I absolutely love Afrobeats. That's like my favorite music right now.
Yeah, it's dope. You can dance to everything, dude. Reggaeton. Just to get back though to what you were saying, man. Like how with the salsa, how long does somebody need to dance? Like be going to classes every single week for them to start vibing off the salsa? Kind of like, oh, you can find that nice connection, right? How long does somebody need to be training for them to find that connection?
I might be the wrong person to ask this,
In
but
your
this
estimation,
is, but this is just my
He's the
thought
most
process.
qualified.
This is my thought process behind it. That like I think that if you were taking classes like every week, right? I think that you should be able to feel connection. However, the majority of instructors, a lot of times they're growing and they want to show off like more like the crazy stuff, and sometimes I think. You can't really like expect somebody to feel connection or to want to find that connection if their basic in and of itself isn't the best. And you're kind of like, it doesn't help you. Like you asked me like, oh, like how long does it take? Well, like in a perfect world, it would be like a teacher would have to be like only focusing on like the basics and then just like putting that down over and over. But then it also doesn't help because the student in and of itself, he or she are like, oh, well, I see salsa as like this crazy like freaking dance, so I want to do that. So I think people, it's like on both ends, like the instructor doesn't help because they're doing crazy shit, and then student expects them to teach them the crazy shit, and then they don't realize that like the important part is like fucking connecting to your partner.
And it's
Right.
funny you bring that up, dude, because we were talking after class that one time you went to our class. Yeah.
That
Twice.
twice.
We were talking outside.
Two more times than everyone else here. So
That's true. That's true. You're ahead of the game.
yeah.
It's funny you say that, dude, because you know, like they're not teaching a softer side of the dance, right? They're just more what gets usually the clicks or what gets the views or what gets the students going, holy shit, like that's so dope. I want to learn that, right?
Yeah.
That's funny, dude, because we have the opposite problem, right? It's like our dance is not flashy at first because first we try to establish the connection and then later on we get the cool shit. So, you know, we're talking about numbers and everything. I'm like, literally, if we could just balance it, it's the hard part.
Yeah, it's
You
hard
know?
because like it's like okay, like what's the right proportion of like flashy, but also like basic, where it's like the student is actually learning what they need to learn in order for them to actually succeed in the flashy shit. So yeah, that's I don't know the answer. I don't think any instructor really knows the answer because like they have their own personality as far as like like they probably want to do crazy shit too. So it's like, but then they're forced to like not forced to, but like you know that's their role. Like as an instructor, like you should be wanting the best for your students, but then also like if it makes you upset, well that kind of sucks for you. You know, does it really fulfill you at that point?
And they also have to cater to their business, right? So it's like,
Right.
what brings me new students that can see what's going on, and just want to learn from me.
Yeah, there's like so many fucking factors. Like that's the truth. But there's no good answer of like fuck like what will give a student good salsa connection. So
Yep.
I don't know.
The learning curve for salsa is like way higher.
That
too.
is true too.
Yeah.
So, and like with Urban Kiz, do you feel like, especially since you both mentioned you do this for fun, even for teaching, just growing and giving back to the community, do you feel like not having that pressure to like, you know, I don't know, pay the light bill or something or the rent, do you feel like that kind of allows you to just like teach and enjoy the process yourselves, you know?
So can I go first real quick? I just got something to say real quick. So I gotta clarify, it's not that we do it for fun, we take it very seriously.
Oh, my
Like
bad.
super serious. No, you're good. We take it very serious and it's stressful and it feels like a job.
Oh, really?
You know,
Okay.
after a while, you're dancing, like, you know, like you have to cater down to your students and you have to be available for them. You have to get those dances. You have to make sure they're having a good time. So you almost take on like a host role, right? So it is work, but in terms of income, we're not seeing it like work.
Sure.
Because the money's not there yet, you know. But in terms of the actual effort that goes into it, man, it's stressful, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
So
'Cause we
the
do lesson
stressful of
plan.
actually like not money wise, like the regular stresses and worries about just a regular dance company that still affects you too.
the stress of like a dance company. What do you mean?
And just like teaching and all that. Just
Like, would we be as worried about numbers and things like that?
yeah,
if this was
because
our only
if there's a
income?
number, like if you're
Right.
relying it as like your sole income,
yeah.
like that's like an extra layer of like,
Yeah.
okay, like should I just teach like whatever's like profitable, or should I just like actually teach to
I could
better
see
the
that.
students? You know what I mean?
I could see that happening. I think we're very community oriented, so I would hope that it wouldn't get to that point where we're just trying to get people in, you know?
Right.
But also, we're not in that spot, so I can't say for sure. But I would hope that we would still stick to our foundations and like
Yeah.
of who we are as people wanting to just grow the community and make sure that we're growing good dancers.
Right.
Because that's our main goal. Because you can teach people and just throw them a bunch of patterns, but then they're not going to get it. If you're not teaching them weight transfers, they're not going to be able to move their following to do the crazy movements, and someone's going to get hurt.
Right.
So it's like, that's the main focus. But I could see absolutely for other instructors, possibly if this is like them doing it for income of just trying to do what's going to get people in,
Right.
because you got to make money.
Like
you
if
know?
this was it, dude, like we didn't have regular jobs and this was like you now depend on your school income. Oof, I don't know, dude.
It'd be tough.
Yeah.
That'd be really difficult. Yeah.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
It'd definitely
Yeah.
be teaching as much as possible, I guess, and then maybe also just getting a side job because
Yeah, just to like fulfill those. You
Yeah.
have to keep things running.
Right.
You'd probably be way more like antagonistic against like bachata and salsa. really push Urban Kiz. Really try to sell us on it.
Get them, yeah, right?
Salsa bachata, fuck that shit.
What
you
we're
don't wanna
trying
learn
to say
that.
is like you guys are. We got to like change up your demographic. Like really just do Urban Kiz. But no, like okay, going back to like you know, I see a lot of subtleties with Urban Kiz, and like it's not as flashy as salsa and bachata. Do you feel do you notice anything within like the communities, just like the dance is like so different, you know, like I know going to class and talking to some of the students, like I feel like the vibes are different. Like you said, maybe it's just that, you know, that dance class, your dance class where everyone seems really tight knit, but I don't know, maybe if it just grows to the size of salsa and bachata, maybe it gets more kind of clicky or, you know?
Yeah.
So something that we try to establish whenever new students come in is making sure that they understand the environment that they're coming in and they're not changing that environment. Okay. So if there's someone that is ever going to come in and disrupt that family-oriented safe space, you're not going to be there.
Right.
So we try to make sure as we're getting students in that vibe is staying the same. Right. Because that was our main goal with starting this is we want to have a safe space for people to dance. So if you're coming in groping people, you ain't gonna stay. You gonna go out the door. Like we're not gonna allow that. Right. So that's our main thing.
Yeah, and we're, you know, when we say safe space, we're not saying we're like, you know, like super soft or anything like that. You know, we'll still fuck you up if you're crazy. You know, it's like, but
I like this Urban Kiz right here.
It's a partially safe space, but yeah, like what she's saying, if somebody comes in here trying to start like bullshit or anything like that, it's like, no, dude, it's like everybody here, we're all kind of one, and you start making fun of a dancer or you start talking crap about somebody's dancer. We've had some students, no names, of course, where they're like, oh, it's, you know, it's the follow's fault that this didn't work out, or, you know, if I just had a good lead, this would work out. It's like, yo, like we're all learning, you know what I mean? We're all progressing. We don't need to like start, even if I know they do it in confidentiality because they're talking to the instructor, like, oh, I see I could do it when you lead it, but when the other lead, you know, points fingers and everything, I can't do it with them. I'm like, they're still learning. Like, let's relax. You know,
so
it's fine. Yeah, you're still learning too.
Right.
You know, yeah, you can be elevated by certain people, but it doesn't mean you're still not on your journey to learn. But we noticed, man, like in other communities, more, you know, in that same area, 2017-ish, there were more Urban Kiz instructors, and we noticed in their classes, there was still that toxicity a little bit. Or even the instructor, again, no names, would start even agreeing with the person, or you start hearing rumors about like, oh, this person clicks with this person, they're talking shit about this person, you know? Yeah. So automatically, dude, when we started this, we were like, we're not gonna have any of that shit, because like low-key, man, it starts killing. It's like a little infection. Yeah. It starts like spreading here, man, and then it's here, and then suddenly the whole class has clicks, and it's just like, it's stupid, you know? We're all dancing the same shit.
Right.
Like, why start making enemies? This doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
You know?
And like I said, that was the vibe in the community that Mike and Nikki had given us.
Really?
So
like
that's
a good vibe.
So that's
good
why
energy,
when we took over teaching, which they're the ones that they basically pushed us into teaching. We were like, we're not teaching anymore after COVID, so we've been telling you guys to teach, so go. And we were like, what? So then we're like, okay, we're gonna have to do it. But Mike and Nikki gave us that community, and so we wanted to continue that vibe of that, like, they didn't allow things like that to happen in their classrooms. And they made sure everyone felt welcome. And so that's why we kind of took on that whole role with our community.
The way I see it is just like, I guess, getting introduced to social dancing with salsa and bachata. Like, I just kind of took it as it is, being fresh, you know? So the negative aspects, I just kind of like accepted it. Yeah. And then, I don't know, I don't know why, but seeing actual Urban Kiz being danced, I figure, I'm like, these are chill ass people, because it kind of like not in a bad way, but it does look like you guys are kind of standing around. Yeah. I'm like, they can't be aggressive, right? Like, they seem like nice people.
We're just partaking and standing.
It's cool. Like, I could stand. Like, we could do this. Like, no, you're definitely your class environment definitely stands out. That's the first thing. Like, I remember going with my friend, and I told her, I'm like, wow, like they're really like laid back and cool, and that's kind of why, like, I just, like, you know, we were hanging out in the parking lot talking shit.
Right.
Yeah. Because, like, you're so personable. I feel like part of it is that, because, like, let's say you do have, like, good dances or dancers, like, I would hate personally to get good and just, like, be jaded and just be like, oh, like, this person sucks, I'm not going to dance with them or whatever, you know? Because that kind of defeats the purpose of connecting. Like, if anything, that's, like, the opposite of it, so.
100%.
Yep.
But that's shocking, like, even back then in 2017, like you said, like, that toxicity and other Kiz instructors were there, so I guess no one's safe from it, really.
Like, you know, we're all people, right? Yeah. So people are always going to have their little egos and things that'll kind of come and try to bleed into communities, right? That happens with salsa, bachata, Urban Kiz, kizomba. And so it's just about trying to make sure that doesn't infect your community.
It's like an antivirus, right, for your computer. It's like if you download some shady stuff off LimeWire, you still might get a virus. You know, maybe you guys are too. Maybe you guys are too young.
2024.
Yeah,
we gotta ask
I remember LimeWire.
Do you know what LimeWire is?
I remember my aunts and uncles using it.
Okay, we are old. Let me rephrase it. We're a little older. If you guys got on the Pirate Bay and downloaded something, right? And you have an antivirus, it's just like you might probably get a virus even if you have an antivirus up. But having that extra defense might sway certain viruses away, right? Yeah. So the goal is we don't expect that we'll stop all clickiness, all anything, right? But if we have already a wall up and are looking for it because we know it ruins things, then we can at least filter out things before maybe they start spreading. Right. We're not perfect and we're not actual robots, so yeah, we can't filter everything.
Pirate Bay and LimeWire.
Yeah. Okay. You download, something funny off the Pirate Bay. Yeah. You put yes, install on the computer, administrative access, and then you're just like, oh, what happened? Yeah. It's like, well, don't download that, man.
Oh my gosh. So was it just COVID that kind of just I'm assuming the other Kizomba instructors just went away from after COVID? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so with Mike and Nikki, they had been doing it by themselves for years. Okay. They were carrying the urban kids part of the community by themselves for what, 7?
It's been a while. Since
20.
I think they started dancing and teaching it 2011, 2012.
Yeah. Oh, shit, yeah. So and that's a lot for one couple to do, especially when with our community, it was never really consistent, And so as an instructor, you kind of get discouraged when you're not getting consistent numbers and you can get burnt out, which is what happened with them. And they said, after COVID, I don't know if we're coming back. It's been a lot of work and it was just consistently just them doing it by themselves. And so that's why they were like, we're going to take a break. You guys go teach. But now we're lucky to have them, and they're part of Desert Kiz. Mm-hmm. So now they're with us. But because there's a team and there's a group, and they know that we're going to be there to help them, and they're not going to get burnt out, They knew
the workload wasn't going to be the same versus them just by themselves. Right. So they're like, we can do partial, and we can be part of this group, which benefits all of us. Because again, we just mentioned, she got sick, early December, and then they could just step in. And the class still goes, nothing just falls off.
Right.
What's the timeline? So the Nikki and Mike. Oh my God, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Mike. So did Mike and Nikki, were they the first ones to start Urban Kiz classes here, or was there people before them?
There's people before.
There's history, man. So
that's what I want to know.
So Urban Kiz specifically, I don't know if you guys are newer to the scene, I guess, but Vicky Vasquez teaches in California now. Mm-hmm. She was one of the first ones to bring Kizomba artists here to Phoenix. And then she instructed Mike and Nikki, and then Mike and Nikki and themselves too went to congresses, started getting different training. They went to Europe where Urban Kiz kind of started forming, went to Paris, started taking classes with some of the creators of Urban Kiz over there. And then they basically, I guess they fell in love with it when it was just barely introduced here, and they just ran with it. So the timeline goes Vicky, and then Brandon also a little bit, and then Mike and Nikki. Mike and Nikki extended from 2012 to 2019, right before COVID. And then COVID happens, and then it's dead, all through the pandemic. And then we come in right around 2021.
So, okay.
Yeah.
And where do Ross and Jahaira fall in the timeline then?
So Ross, Jahaira, let's see. So Jahaira started her own teaching in Tucson. You guys might have talked to her about that. Before COVID, she was already teaching. So 2017, I think, 2018, those same pre-COVID years, she was in Tucson living over there teaching.
Yeah, she was.
Then she taught Ross.
And then she taught Ross.
During the pandemic.
So while everything's, while all the toilet paper's gone, she's teaching him how to dance, And but yeah, she was already doing it in Tucson.
Yeah.
So Jahaira's already had her own experience coming into doing her Saltandi stuff and then also Desert Kiz stuff. So in that timeline, she's already teaching, and it's crazy too because Jahaira's been a friend for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
We've been friends with her for 7 years maybe at this point. So we'd go to Tucson with our Kiz crew from Phoenix, and we go to her socials over there in Tucson to kind of support the neighboring city. But then she ended up moving over here. So the timeline in there, they're kind of in their own bubble. Her trying to teach Ross Urban while they're also doing a bunch of salsa bachata stuff.
And then after pandemic, then we all get together and say, hey, why don't we make a group? to teach. That way it's not just on any one person or any one couple to teach on their own. That way you have a support system and you're not going to get burnt out. And everyone. So when we first started, it was Ross, Jahaira, me, Fernando, my sister Hosanna, and Claudina. So those were the original 6 instructors. Claudina went off, got married, having babies and everything, so she stopped teaching. My sister, she's working on other stuff, so she also stopped teaching. And then that's when we ended up getting Mike and Nikki that came in.
Yeah. For a while, it was just us 4, though.
Yeah, for a while it was just us 4. After Claudina and Hosanna left, it was just me, Fernando, Ross, and Jahaira for what?
It was like a good year and a half, 2 years. Yeah.
Then Mike and Nikki came in.
So it was Desert Kiz first, and then Ross and Jahaira did Saltandi, or how did that?
Yeah, so this is super common question. So Desert Kiz is all of us, right?
Yes.
It's me, Destiny, Ross, Jahaira, and now Mike and Nikki. Saltandi is just Ross, Jahaira. So when they get hired at events, it's Saltandi for them because that's their own personal brand. So them having their own personal brand, they're also part of our collective brand, which is Desert Kiz.
But we do their performance team as well. So we do their choreography Saltandi performance team. So we'll perform with them on that. But Saltandi is Ross and Jahaira.
Yeah.
Desert Kiz is all of us.
It's all of us.
Okay.
Kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we also perform a drop.
Okay. And but it's good that you guys like kind of like you guys understand like okay like this is how it works versus like just being like we're just all together, you know, because I feel like a lot of times like it's very easy to just be like, well, there's Saltandi and Desert Kiz. It's just there's one and the same, I guess, and then you kind of just leave it like that. But at least you guys know your guys' like labels, I guess. I don't know if that's good, but
yes.
yeah, I guess I don't know.
There's clarity, right? It's like
Clarity. That's
No
better.
blurred lines.
The only downside, I guess, is that sometimes it's confusing. Like you know,
people,
like you guys are saying, it's like, oh, I guess you know.
For the longest time, I was afraid to ask. I'm like, like, who owns Desert Kiz? Is it collective effort or is it just you guys? And I just never asked. And I just like, I'll figure it out eventually. And it only took Antonio to ask.
Literally,
I ask the hard questions over here.
The questions that matter.
It's important though to know, right? It's like
Yeah.
I mean, we love doing Saltandi stuff too. We like doing the performances. I wouldn't consider us as part of Saltandi, but we do like partake in their activities,
Right.
you know, because they're our friends and we support them.
Sure.
Right? But we're definitely not part of the company. But in terms of Desert Kiz, we're part of the company.
Yeah.
And so are they. And, you know,
Okay.
a collaborative effort, yeah.
Yeah, but we try to make sure we support what they're doing because what they're doing also is bringing people into community. So Desert Kiz is bringing people in. Saltandi, we're all working for the same goal of getting people into the community. So
100%,
we
yeah.
try to support as much as
And
possible.
I've been asked before our festival, was like, doesn't that, you know, like, conflict of interest, isn't there like, I'm like, no, dude, it's like, there's a saying, it's like rising tide raises all ships.
Yes,
It's like we all
I
dance the
agree.
same dance. If we bring students, for example, we bring students and then later they found about their training team for performances. It's like, as long as they're all dancing the same thing, we're both getting elevated because that's potential students for 2 things. Right? It's
Yeah.
not just like, oh, we're going to send them off, do something different. So,
Right.
super dope.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you traveled like internationally to Kiz?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Because it's like just a recap. It's bigger internationally. Than
Oh
it
my
is
gosh,
stateside,
yes.
right?
If
It's
you
like huge.
go other places, if you go to France, you like here, everyone's like, oh, I know what salsa bachata is. If you go to France, everyone knows what urban Kiz is. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's dance. And it's like nightclubs out there. Like, they have nightclubs for just dancing urban Kiz. They have urban Kiz Monday through Saturday. Like, you can go anywhere. There's like 3 different spots around there
Per
that has
night,
it going
that's
on per night.
Per night.
Per night. So
Yes.
so here
crazy.
on Thursday night you get Bachata Addiction, the Deuce, and you're like, those are the 2 salsa spots on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
In Europe or in France specifically, it's Monday and it's like, oh, there's urban at a club over there, there's urban at a club over there, and there's urban at a club over there. It's like, oh, it's Wednesday, oh, there's like 4 clubs that are dancing at the same time. So like every day that you could dance urban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a dope dance, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, again, it's really cool. And so I think the US is starting to also get to that point where people are discovering it. And then you never know, dude. Like over here, it might be like Europe, where it's just, it might be the dance to dance, you know? You go
Right.
out. Or maybe not. There's a
just
big
take
Latin
that.
presence here. There's a big
Maybe
Latin
not.
presence here. It's
Big
different, yeah.
Maybe not.
But maybe close, you know? Maybe close.
Sorry, Salsa's got that one, guys. I'm just kidding.
It's because it's the US and there's a huge line, like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, kind of scene here. So yeah.
Sounds like got a grip hold on the States.
But dude, people used to say bachata would never catch up to salsa.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
now it's
That's
kind of
true.
like, you know, it's like a race car. It's just like, just kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
I
never
think
know, man.
You know,
You
the
know,
urban
yeah.
kids right in the back.
Urban Kiz just kind of sneaking up a little bit.
On the bumper. Hey, all right, rising tides raises all ships. Ride it.
Yeah.
Because you know,
cool.
people were saying the same thing about Brazilian Zouk. Before COVID, Brazilian Zouk was also not very big here.
Yeah.
Really?
But post-COVID, they blew it
They
the hell
blew
up,
up.
man.
Yeah.
It is crazy, Brazilian Zouk now.
They put in a lot of hard work and they blew up.
And nobody thought at the same time, they were like, oh, they're never going to be as big as bachata. You know, they have their own little niche and that's it. But I'm like, now bachata, people are borrowing moves from Brazilian Zouk.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially
Yeah,
if
Central
you're
bachata is just basically
Zouk
with
with
the
the
Brazilian
bachata.
bachata basic.
Sideways, right?
It looks like we won't get any Central artists on in the future forever.
It's okay.
Sorry,
So-
guys.
Jose, you look like you're about to say something.
Oh yeah. So something I'm getting a lot here, and it's something that I've noticed in also the Zouk community. I think I've talked to some Zoukeros, and they mentioned the fact that they're smaller here in the United States. It kind of like gives them a sense of like almost like purpose, where their purpose is to just grow the community. And because it's so small, everybody's a lot closer. Everybody just wants to support each other because they all fall under the same goal of growing the community. I think you got the things you guys are doing here with Desert Kiz, and then and also, you know, you're talking about Saltandi. I think a lot of the salsa and bachata community can learn from you guys, because there's a lot of mention also, you know, usually of like there being conflicts of interest between instructors and event organizers, and like times and dates. Like there's like so much just basically drama in the scene, in the salsa community and the bachata community. And you know, this kind of goes back to like the whole wall and the culture like behind salsa or behind the different genres also. I think what you guys are doing is it's dope, because I think you guys are coming at it from the right place. You know, it's community based versus member based. You know, it's about serving the community, serving the people, serving the individuals. And even the fact that you mentioned, you know, the safeguarding, you know, keeping it a safe place, but not being soft. I think that's a really great point. Because people need a container, you know, they need to be able to define it and be like, hey, this is a place that I want to go to, where I feel safe, where I can grow, but they also want to feel like protected. Like nobody's going to come in here with the wrong intentions. And I just like, it's just, I think there's a stark difference, you know, there's a big difference that I'm seeing from what I've experienced in the salsa and bachata community. Not that like it's completely negative, I love it, but I think just hearing what you guys are talking about, that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing. You know, we're community based. It's like the same thing. Like we want to grow the community, and like tying it all together. Like I want to see I just want to see people dance. You know, whether it be salsa, bachata, urban kids, Brazilian Zouk, hip hop, whatever. Like if we bring more attention to this, to dance in general, I think just people's lives will be better. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys wanted to add anything to that.
Yeah, man. One of the things that I'm very self-aware, you know, and dancing for me has been like a huge therapy. You know, like grew up in a very like abusive household. And so to me, dude, like you're saying, I want people to dance, dude, because it can, I don't know, it's a lot of healing. I don't know if you guys experience, but to me, it's been super healing. So then in a world where everybody's like stressed out about shit, everybody's stressed about money, work and everything, why wouldn't you want somebody, or to invite them in a space where they can just like forget about shit, right? Mm-hmm. And just partake in the enjoyment of dance without the drama, without the bullshit. Just dance, dude, and your life likely gets better, you know? So like you're saying, man, like what you're saying is like perfect, dude, because I'm like, just get people to dance. You know, if we happen to be the vehicle for that, and we just happen that our company starts growing and we make money, that's just a beautiful byproduct of like the community supporting us, right? But in the beginning, the community needs support first because you need to be able to like pave the driveway for them a little bit. And then, you know, it's like the people will take care of you kind of as you take care of them, you know? And it's also really nice, dude, because it's fulfilling as hell, dude. Like what you guys are doing here, as you guys start seeing the numbers and start seeing people, I'm sure you guys get messages like, oh, I resonate with that, or that clicked for me. I'm sure it's rewarding for you guys getting that feedback too of like, this matters to people. And that makes you feel a certain way because you know you're the vehicle for that. Because otherwise that wouldn't exist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree with what you're saying, man.
Yeah. And I think that, okay, that, like, that's definitely what I always come back to, the power of dance to like transform people's lives. That's the point here. And I think the thing to watch out here for is like, you know, we talked about it in a previous podcast, like why are you doing what you're doing? Like why are you dancing? Why are you teaching? Why are you creating these events? Because if you don't think about that, then it does become a place like we're seeing it happen where it's just like dance for the sake of like vanity, you know, for the sake of like for the looks and stuff or the validation, whatever, you know, and versus like dance for the sake of dance, you know, for the sake of connection, for the sake of like friendship. Like I think, I don't know how it is outside, you know, maybe Urban Kiz. And it's interesting to think about. I think like the essence of the dance itself, like Urban Kiz versus salsa versus bachata. I love to think about these differences because I think that when we enter these like different forms of dance, they shape us in a way. I think through Urban Kiz, I can learn to become a lot more subtle, a lot more present, and then through salsa, I can learn to be a little more calculative, a little more just thoughtful about what I'm doing, or linear thinking, and every single dance has something to teach us, I believe, and I think maybe in a way sometimes they can get to a point where like the essence itself kind of gets distorted, and then we only take the negative out of that. So maybe if salsa is really is really beautiful in the sense that it has these crazy patterns and all these performative it's got a huge performative culture behind it, where it can become distorted and that becomes the main focus, you know. So for you guys, I know you mentioned the power of like healing and the relationship that you have with dance. So how have like your guys' personal experiences played into just all of this that you're creating, like your teaching format, like your approach to the community? Yeah. So like how have your guys' personal experiences, stories, and all that played into it?
So for me, I'd say dance has always been like an outlet for me. So whenever I've been stressed, like there's sometimes I would come home, especially back when I was super just doing hip hop and really into that. I would just come home sometimes and just put music on and just freestyle. I'm like, okay, I had a stressful day. I'm just going to freestyle. I'm going to let it go. And that's it. And I would feel so much better after. So for me, dance has always been a stress reliever and an outlet. And so transferring that over to Urban Kiz, it's also a stress reliever. And so it's like wanting to give people that knowledge of knowing that there's something that you can use, that you can go to when you're feeling stressed out. You don't have to turn to things that are maybe like not as healthy. Like dance is like a healthy outlet, I feel like, for people.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I didn't dance hip hop, but I relate to the fact too that it's like dancing is healing and it's a super good outlet, dude. I'm like, yeah, we mix drinking in sometimes, you know, to boost it and everything. But I'm like, you could be doing worse shit, man. You could be doing drugs. You could be doing for the similar high that you get from dance. Mm-hmm. So why not move physically? Why not like connect emotionally and spiritually with somebody and then make friendships, you know? Mm-hmm. It's crazy because I'm like, slowly over time, we've noticed that a lot of our old friendships that don't dance, we've started losing them. The older you get, you know, friendships come and go, right? But the constant is most of the friendships we have now are like dance friendships, because we all like the same shit and we all vibe with that same kind of thing, right? So it's like, again, super healing for me. It's just, I don't know, dude. I'm kind of like I'm getting tripped up because I don't know how to explain it. Like dancing is just fucking dope.
Yeah.
It's just so much benefits for such a small investment. You know what I mean? It's just cool as shit.
Well, when you say you're healing, what was like the, I mean, if you're comfortable with it, but like, what would be like the, where you were before dance and where you are after dance? What was that transformation for you?
Yeah, so with healing specifically, I would say just as the result of like my past, right? I was very closed off. I was very shy. I was very introverted. I was very scared to like make connections with people because my brain, somebody would tell me, was like, what's the point? It's not gonna stick. It's like, so that comes from a place of trauma, of course, right? Having those insecurities and those discomforts. Versus dancing, I've learned that, I can connect with people in a very strong level, right? I've learned that just because something exists now doesn't mean it has to go away. So like it's just giving me comfort, or even just emotionally connecting with somebody, right? Somebody might think it's weird that you can connect emotionally in a dance, but I've done it all the time. There's dance that I have at a festival where I'm 7 songs in and having the best, most connected time because I've allowed myself to allow that and then also share it, right? Versus somebody that's like trauma, just kind of riding on the trauma a little bit, that space wouldn't be available to kind of connect with somebody. And through the experience of connecting, through the experience of socializing, right? Talking about being introverted, I was like a shut-in dude. Like I would not want to talk like at all. But now that I call it like learned extrovert. So I'll still chat. I love chatting with people and I still have a battery, but my capacity, like I've doubled or tripled my battery of how much I can take. And that's all because I started dancing. Yeah, it's not all directly related to dancing, but again, dancing was the vehicle to kind of give me all that stuff. You know what I mean? So in that way, it's healing. It exposes you to things that you're not going to experience being at home or just sitting there, and it puts you out of a comfort zone and you grow.
Would you say also that that's probably one of the reasons why you chose to like Urban Kiz called to you more? Do you think for you, Urban Kiz kind of like really pushed you to like it was just a lot easier for you to connect emotionally with people? Is that kind of one of the bigger aspects of Urban Kiz? Would you guys say that?
I think so for me.
Yeah, I think so because it's already like so connection based. I think it welcomes you to being open to connecting with other people. So I'd say it makes it a lot easier. I'd say
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just one last comment on my part, and then the guys can continue with questions. I think that sometimes we mask ourselves. Like for me, the point of dance is to be naked. To be naked, like emotionally, specifically emotionally, and let go of just my mind and just like, hey, just be here. And I think a lot of the times people put on a mask to like, they walk around and they have a mask. We go to work, etc. But I think dance is one of the things that allows us to remove those masks. Because when you're in there, like nobody cares about what you do, what kind of work you do. Nobody's asking you really like where you're from or like you as all these things that we like attach ourselves to. People are just there because they want to get to know you as a dancer or as a human being at the level of dance, and at that emotional level. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why dance can be so healing. It's like it teaches us to remove the mask and like see ourselves through others' eyes at the deepest level. And then and I think right now, one of the things that I'm working on for the community or striving to change is the fact that sometimes we get to a certain level and then we see the changes. We become a little more snobby. We become a little more picky, a little more, we just think we put too many things and then that just restricts ourselves. Now we're creating a mask within the dance itself. And then like, I see it where people mask themselves through dance moves. It's easy to create all these flashy moves and stuff, but then that within itself becomes a mask sometimes. So I think the fact that Urban Kiz it's almost like first connection, then we'll talk about the rest of the stuff. I think that's just a big message for people in through all genres of dance. I think that's one of the things. I haven't partaken in Urban Kiz myself, but I relate, and I love dancing with Jahaira. I know she really loves that kind of. She's all about musicality, all about the subtleties, and I know that's something that I want people to take from this. Really, it's like there's that opportunity, there's that window there for sure.
Yep, and it's crazy because all those masks you're talking about could also themselves be from maybe a bad place that they've had in life, right? So it takes, and I like what you're saying, man. Specifically, I want to give you props because I notice you're very self-aware, and you're trying to shift certain directions and within the way you dance and everything. But for example, people wearing those masks could be also from trauma, could be from situations in life and everything. And it takes a lot of digging deep and figuring out yourself and learning about yourself and what you're into and everything to feel comfortable exposing it. Because I feel the reason people don't expose or take off the mask is because they're scared. Right? It's difficult, it's challenging. So then you put up the ego, you put up the, I'm a dope dancer. Oh, I'm here to I'm gonna pick up all these women. I can do what the fuck I want. It's no, it's because you're scared, dude. I'm if you just open up, you'll meet other people that are also trying to shed the fear and then get to a different section in life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I like
and
what you're saying.
And then that's why what you said earlier was so important. And I love the fact that you said it where you're yeah, it's a safe space, but we'll still whoop your ass, bro, if you're messing around. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about all this healing stuff, but the reason we need people to say that and stand by that. Because if we don't, then we're that's the guard that we have to keep people away from bullshitting around and lying to themselves and interfering with other people's process of getting to know themselves or sharing who they are. Because if those people enter the community and they have different and they're using that mask, they're using that thing, then not only are they messing with the community, but they're also lying to themselves. Not only when you act as that protector, not only are you protecting your people, but you're also reminding that person you can't do that here, and that's not okay in general. So you need to go home and think about, reflect, what do you really want to get out of this, because that's not going to fly over here. So I think that's a great point too.
100%, man. Yep.
Oh, I would add that I guess this ties into being vulnerable when you does any form of partner work dancing. We've said this before where it's just you both the fall and the lead need some sort of general trust and vulnerability to trust to have that dance. Because don't you talk about the last episode where we were talking about how some dances are really good and you're messing up the basic and you're off time and everything, but you just love dancing with that person. It has to be some form of connection because I've had dances where things are really good where I didn't really mess up as much, but it just was nothing there. I felt nothing from the other person. And I just think part of it initially looking at maybe it's me, where am I opening up to my partner, and then sometimes it's the other way around. And then I've noticed some dances we could totally be way off, and I danced with a complete beginner, but I had the best time of my life. And it has to start from that place of okay, let me be vulnerable, let me show that person who I am, and then hopefully they'll be open to receiving that.
100%.
So I think that connects any form of dance or whatever passions we have relating to dance. I think everyone can relate to those dances or moments where I really like that moment, because that's a core memory. You think about your best dances, it kind of ties back.
Yeah, dude.
Just to the simplest things that I think down the road, like Jose says, you specialize and obviously you want to get good, and then maybe you're teaching, maybe then you're performing, and then it's easy to get caught up in the process, and it's easy to kind of lose your way. And sometimes it's good to step back and be okay, why did I even start all this? It's because I love this, because it makes me happy, because it's healing, especially with motion. And there's studies where when you're moving and you're thinking, that's why when people are at work or they're really stressed out, they might get up and pace around and start thinking, is because your body needs motion. I mean I guess like if you're paralyzed, you can't move. But I don't know how that came out. But
You can well, bro.
no excuses for those people. Oh God, I'm sorry.
The wheels in the wheelchair still move.
Yeah, that's true. Use your hands.
So I'm like,
Yeah, like no excuses. But no, yeah, but like yeah, it goes back to like I guess like again when I first started, just my I guess outlet before was like the gym, and like that's a form of movement. But I noticed what made me fall in love with dance is like it's a very creative form of expression. You know, like no matter like how much you try to like replicate a dance, even with the same person to the same song, it'll always be different.
Yep.
You know, and that's like the X factor of like because it'll never be the same. I think that's why you know you want to keep dancing. You know, you listen to your favorite songs, you still enjoy it like the first time you heard it versus like 1,000 times later, right?
Yep.
And you know, I think that's what keeps it so fresh about dancing, especially like partner work dancing. And yeah, just with motion and thinking that's in a form it's therapeutic because, you know, like I guess for me, what I like about salsa is like, it's like, I guess like, it's like cathartic in the sense where like, yes, I love bachata more in some ways, but when I listen to these songs and like I'll be singing or like, you know, just doing simple patterns, like I really feel like, I guess mainly in the singer, you know, and like I just feel like I connect to it so much where I'm just like, yeah, like I almost get like emotional dancing salsa. So like,
awesome.
I think that's why I like it.
I love
personally.
that.
Yeah, so that's like my connection to like the music and the dance, and that just allows me to be vulnerable, I guess. Like so, but I will take more classes in Urban Kiz, and I know there's like no lyrics. Oh God,
You know, no pressure, dude. But I'm like, but honestly, dude, like to me, you're already doing, like you're already in like that enlightenment like pathway for you, right? Like you're finding things while you're dancing that you're just like clicking with like a ton, right? Like being emotional.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that's a non-negotiable. It's like I will not get emotional because I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, some people just
Right?
dance just to dance. They're like, this is exercise. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is so weird to me. And I met dancers like that. They're like, this is just cardio. I'm like,
But
man,
they're
I don't like thinking when I'm exercising, but okay, like I don't know, like
But it's
everyone's
like-
different too. So I mean, there's that demographic.
I guess everything's different, yeah. I guess, and that's where you find your people, or that's where you find who kind of you relate to and everything. But so I think I relate to you, dude. What you're saying, I'm like, I wanna be emotional. I want to be a strong person.
Sure.
And for me to expose my strengths, I need to be willing to take off the armor, right?
Yeah.
How am I gonna go into battle or whatever, and then I'm wearing all like 10 pieces of armor,
Right.
and I don't even know what's underneath.
Right.
You know, and so
Yeah.
it's to me a person that's willing to be vulnerable to me is a stronger person than somebody that's just like, nah, like I don't fuck with that shit.
Right, yeah, because
You know?
this is the most freeing form of like, I don't know, mentality, because, you know, someone who's like super open to like, the best falls, I guess, that I like they just love dancing. They're always excited to see you and dance, and like, yeah, like that's like, they're so patient in the sense that like, I'm allowed to mess up. I'm allowed to get off time. And like, they're still like, they're patient, they're understanding, versus someone who's like really, really technical, and like any little like mess up, they're like I get like reprimanded for it. So it's like
the world falls apart, right?
Yeah,
Because like,
it's
something
like-
happened. It's like,
yeah.
Right.
So it is a balance in that sense where, yeah, I think connection's everything. The most enjoyable dances have to have some form of connection, whatever dance you're doing, right? Like
Absolutely.
that has to be the baseline.
That's
yeah.
true. Also,
You guys
are we
go
able
to festivals and everything,
a
right?
break?
What's up?
Yeah.
You guys go to festivals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah.
you can go ahead. Yeah, you just go. It's
I
okay.
thought he was like, yeah, we go. You guys go to festivals?
Yeah, we've gone to festivals.
Have you guys ever had like a situation where the festival is kind of pretty good, right?
Okay.
But then what sticks out to memory when you leave is like those really good dances you had.
Yeah.
Where it was like super connected, and you're still like, I don't know, you're still carrying the whole vibe with you even home. I was like, yo, that dance specifically was fire.
Yeah,
Like,
damn.
damn.
Coming
Yeah,
back home.
that's what I always
I
call
try
it.
to ride it out. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
gonna social dance like every single night until like that wears off. And
Yeah.
then it's like, I
There
chill
was
out
a-
again.
You're still
There
on
was
it.
I always love seeing people when they come back from a congress, especially if it's their first time, or
Oh, yeah.
even if it's their second time or
Their
whatever.
mood
But
is totally different.
yeah, they have that little like month where it's like whenever they go social dancing, they just got the it factor where it's like they know that what they experience, and they know like, all right, I'm gonna try to replicate, and because they're trying to like get that, they just move much differently. There was what Congress did you guys go to? Kevin for Vegas. They went to the Vegas Congress, and there's this kind of new guy. His name is Kevin.
Kind of new guy. It's our friend. Yeah, we kind of know him. He's not our friend.
All right, Kevin, our friend. It's kind of new.
He doesn't like Kevin.
No, I like Kevin. He's cool. But I remember seeing him come back, and like he just moved differently because like he was like, you know, when like you're first starting out, you kind of still move a little robotic and like you're trying to get it. But I remember he came back and he just had it. He was like moving, he was flowing, and it was just like
So like his swagger just like
it's just different. Elevated, and I think that's always the best thing to see when like people come back and they are just like, yo, I got it, I know what I'm doing, like or maybe they don't know what they're doing, but they're just comfortable knowing that like I can fuck up and I can still keep on going.
Yeah, like he was like way more comfortable in his own skin because we went to like our friend Kevin, like that was the second Congress, but I think Vegas like helped, like the environment kind of like that party vibe kind of helped, but like the energy was super high for that Congress, and I think it allowed him to give him that space to be like, hey, like let's just have as much fun as possible and like in a way like kind of like forget everything and just do what you know, but like use what you know and like dance the shit at like your basic or whatever.
Because it's different due to the Congress. It's different because you're away from home. You're with. You know, it's better if you're with your friends, right?
Yeah.
You can let loose. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
And then you guys can relate to him because I'm sure you guys had a similar experience when you went to your first Congress.
Yeah.
And you came back and you're just like, yo, that's different.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole different thing over there.
Right. And I think it's just like being comfortable in your own skin. Like once you can do that.
Yep.
Yeah. I think like maybe the second night of my first Congress, I think Jose was like, you know, Will's just doing the basic, but like, He gave me a compliment. He was like, I think you were talking to Liz. I don't know who you were talking to. Or maybe I'm telling you. You're like, you know, Will just does the basic, but like, he's really into it. And like, man, I was just like, I was on one. I was so gone. Like, I was so high and drunk. But like going back to Vegas, like, I danced with a new, like, I guess she's, like, she just joined, like, Ed's bachata team this season, this fall. And like, I remember that was her first Congress, I guess. Kate. And Kate. Wow. Wait, was that Denver? No. Oh, anyways.
Yeah, all right.
My story's like, I'm sober now, I swear. But anyways, I remember dancing with like a new like dance teammate, and she mentioned we danced in Denver, and then she said, you know, like Drunk Will, like that's my favorite dancer. That's like hilarious. Drunk Will's like my favorite dancer to dance with, and I realized it's not so much like I'll partake just because, you know.
That's what you do at a festival, man.
Yeah, and then like I don't drink at home or anything. I think that's the reason why we have some people drink a little bit or smoke a little bit. It's just to remove that inhibition. Yeah. It's like to remove that ego of like, oh, we're all in our own heads, and especially me, because I realized, oh fuck, like that's what it took like for me to be drunk to get that reaction. So now I'm like, okay, like let me try to do that or be more free without doing that, which I still do, but you know what I mean.
Like you're still free sober? What you're saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to be more like that because
that's awesome.
Like you know, I guess when I'm drunk, I'm like not really so self-conscious about like, oh, like are my steps clean? Like am I just like doing the right thing? Like is she having a good time? Like all these thoughts are going through my head, and like if I'm preoccupied with like thinking, I know like as a lead you kind of have to think 3 steps ahead, but there's like a fine balance of like enjoying the dance and then like leading too, and like me being kind of neurotic, I just like think about the dance and then it shows, you know, like it's just like in his head,
right?
Yeah, even just your vibe might be like even if your steps aren't different, your vibe and then your follow might think because you're trying to safeguard against all these things. I'm like, oh, are we messing up? Is it my fault? Yeah, and then what you're actually doing is making her feel uncomfortable in a way of like, oh, why is this guy overthinking so much? You know, why can't we just like enjoy this dance? You know. Yeah. But it's like, it's crazy how it's like opposite effects of what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it better. Yeah. But the actual feeling is it feels worse.
Right. I feel like most of the time though, as a follow, you can tell when the lead is thinking.
That's crazy.
So I'll try to like, calm down. It's okay, we're dancing. But we can tell as follows when the lead's like in their head and then you can tell when they're like counting steps or when they're like, oh shit, what should I do next? Yeah. We've been doing this basic for 3 minutes now. I know. And we're like, it's fine. So I say most follows are understanding to that. Yeah, because it is hard, especially like me, I lead and I follow. So I understand how hard it is as a lead to sit there and think about how am I going to move my follow? How am I moving myself? What are we doing next? So I feel like when you do both too, it makes you very understanding to the other side. So don't feel bad.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
But I'm like, imagine if you weren't working on it, if you were just completely unaware.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, yeah, this is just, no ambition to improve. I'm just like that, you know, or that's dope.
Yeah.
I like
So,
it.
did I answer your question about the Congress thing? Sorry.
What was the question?
So the question was, it wasn't more of a question, it was more like a statement, I guess,
Oh,
where
okay.
I was saying you guys are so happy for your friend, seeing them come back glowing up and having all that swagger because you know what that first festival kind of hype gives you back, right? You come back glowing. You come back with all the experience too that you've had all weekend, and your dancing's just improved because you've been dancing for like 6 hours a night straight every single night.
Yeah.
So just naturally you come with a swagger, super dope, and so you guys can relate.
Yeah,
I figure, you know.
I think the Congress environment kind of was very conducive because, like, one, it's not cheap, as we know. We were talking about it earlier, but no, and like Jose was talking about, like, I remember. Oh, can I say it, Jose? Where we were talking about like, how you kind of just miss going to congresses at some point. You're like, I'm kind of done with social dancing.
Oh yeah,
You know? Yeah.
yeah.
You cool with that? Oh, I
Yeah,
already
okay.
said it. I'm like asking him.
Hey, are you cool with this thing I'm gonna say right now?
Yeah, you cool with me snitching on you?
I think that's super relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because like everyone there, like, yeah, you have skin in the game in the sense like if you're paying all this money, I'm like you're goddamn right. I'm gonna dance my ass off tonight and like get lit and like have fun because one, it costs money, and then two, everyone is there for the same reason. So like that expectation is like maybe not in the sense like hopefully I convey this right. It's like not so much like I want to get really good dances. Like I'm gonna put my best effort to have like the best night, and I think like that makes a huge difference. Like I know it's like if I'm like kind of low energy social dancing versus like if I'm just on one, like it doesn't matter what, like I'm dancing on 3 salsa, like it doesn't matter, like it will be the best night ever because I will it to be so, you know what I mean, like
I get
so your intention and everything, like with Kevin, like he just, it's not like he didn't have the swag, it's just like it was always within him. He just like embraced it, you know, he found it, he kind of ran with it. Now he's just, it just gets better every time he starts dancing.
That's
you know,
so cool, man.
That's awesome.
So-
Go Kevin, look at that.
Right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin.
That's dope, dude.
yeah,
Hell yeah. Because I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm like, it doesn't matter how many years of experience you had. If you go to a festival and there's somebody first at the festival that can teach you other stuff, or sometimes you don't even need teaching, you just need more dancing. So I'm like, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you come back from, and this is anything, even dance and everything else. If you go and you spend 18 hours doing something, you're probably going to get better, and you're probably going to bring it home, and you're going to be that much better, right? So I'm like, it makes sense, dude. I'm like, and that's the spot, like you're saying, everybody comes in with a glow up because they're away from home. They're all inviting. They all want to have a great time because they paid like $700, dude, between the hotel, the alcohol, the food, and everything else. So you damn better be ready.
like $600 is the alcohol.
Dude, liquor's like at the top of the list. It's like hotel, liquor, food. But yeah, dude, everybody's ready to have a good time, and so it's conductive to everybody just being ready to just like partake. Just having, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted to add like in terms of like because we're humans, where you know we have egos, and like when we chase like I don't know like the skill, the notoriety, it's just everything's a status game, and we're hardwired as humans to like pursue that because that's outwardly society how we get categorized and how we get valued, and like it's a time and place for it, you know. And the interesting thing about Congress socials is like people don't know who the hell you are. You could be like hot shit in your city or your town or whatever, but when you go there, most people don't know, like almost no one knows you.
Right.
So all you have is like your dancing ability and like the vibes you give, you know? Because you could be the shit, but if you come with like that ego or whatever, people are just gonna be like, oh, like that was an awkward dance.
Yeah, this guy's full of himself. Like
so it's like like, and you notice that too in certain
it's
people.
so noticeable.
I'm like,
It's crazy.
yeah, and I think like that removes so many layers of like being away from home. No one knows you, and like all you have is just your dance moves and your vibes. And I think that's why it's so fun every time we go.
Yeah.
On top of meeting people too, and I just think if you can connect with a stranger and like have a really good dance, like yes, it's just a dance and it's not like, like you guys are meant to be or whatever, but I just think like it's a learned skill that I think is very valuable if you can just connect. Like it's like hard for me to like even articulate, like you don't know anything about the person, you just know like dance is so important where you can just be that intimate and like there's nothing sexual or there's nothing there's no context to it,
right?
And I can't really even now I've been thinking about it, I don't think there's any outlet that really can replicate that feeling, other than knowing someone intimately for a long time, like
right.
Yeah, and with dancing, you can do that sped up
immediately
while enjoying it.
Yeah,
like it doesn't even feel like work, dude. It's just like you're just having the best time, and it just so happens as a byproduct, you're also just intimately connecting with somebody, and then afterwards, you're always like, that was fucking dope. Like we need to dance again in the future. You already made a friend.
Yeah, you already made a friend
based off a couple songs. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah. On the flip side, like I will say, like all we're talking, like I don't want to preface that like training and like really like taking advantage of like your teachers and like community leaders in any dance scene. Like it's so important because like they've been through the ringer of like being a beginner. Like there's a process to where they got to where they are.
Right.
So definitely take advantage of it because like the better you get, the more moves or the more like I don't know, like your dance bandwidth, like the more you expand. Like it's just one, like keeps the dance fresh. Like you could do way more combinations and all that in the sense that like you have more tools to maybe like express yourself in different ways. So there's a lot of merit in like really taking it seriously and pursuing it, not like just for outside validation, but like more for yourself.
Right.
Like I do have the desire to get better, but it's just to better express myself on the dance floor and like, and to share that experience with whoever I'm dancing with. But that's just how I see it too.
Because low key, that's also translating to your enjoyment too. Like the more fun you can have with your experience, it's just your tools, right? You have more tools available. You can create bigger experiences for yourself and your partner, but mainly most for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're dancing for you, right?
Yes.
And so you're just inviting another person. But I like the ability of having tools available. And like what you're saying, dude, it's like, festivals are super dope and they have their place, of course, right? But I think like what you're saying is like taking classes local, even though it's not super sexy to do it all the time, right? Because it's like, gets monotonous at times. You're doing the same thing. You're dancing the same stuff with the same students. But I'm like, that's like the hard work, dude. It's like actually training at home, because unless you're loaded, maybe you can just go to festivals and learn that way. But most people aren't millionaires, billionaires that we can afford that kind of lifestyle. So it's important to, like you're saying, take advantage of like the home stuff, because there's a lot of people in Phoenix, dude, like dope dancers that we could all learn from.
And like you're doing yourself a disservice, and like forget like the community and everything. Like if you just want to get good for your own benefits, like a lot of it is just like putting the effort outside of class. Like how bad do you want to get better? Like like that's a big drive to like get better and like improve and like really enjoy it, because of like how it impacts like everyone dancing too. And I was gonna say, like, relating back to like how you say it's healing, like being intimate with someone and like the nuances, especially with men, like dealing with women, being close proximity, like a lot of men, like other than like honestly, if it's like romantically involved or sexually, like most men like don't have that close connection, realize we're just dancing, and I think dance allows that opportunity for men to interact with women, right, and be comfortable, like just in proximity of women like that, right. And I don't think there's any other outlet like that.
That's true.
Bro. Dancing's a cheat code,
in
terms of like life improvements. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm sure you guys are aware. There's a lot of engineers in the dance community. Yeah. And one of the benefits that they tend to get is that they learn how to socialize, surprise, dude, they're busy in college grinding their ass off because engineering degrees are difficult. Yeah. Right. And so a lot of them, not speaking in totals, right, but a lot of them end up lacking social skills because they're working all the time, right? So then they go somewhere where it's structured, where they're being told exactly what they need to do.
And they love it.
It invites a connection with women or just other people, right? And then they get to learn how to socialize. They get girlfriends even in the dance scene. Their life just, again, cheat codes, dude. It's like you were saying this earlier, there's very little things that you can do that facilitate that kind of like push to be better.
Right.
And I personally can't think of something else that's like equal to dancing that'll get you that much benefit. You know?
Like even in personal relationships, I guess for me, like, you know, like my partner in the past, like it wasn't until like the very end of like right before like they would kind of split up, like where it took years in the process for her to like kind of open up. I know like certain topics or like, you know, thoughts that haven't been said, like it took that many years for her to open up. I realized shit, like I dance with people and like maybe like a couple songs later we get to talking sometimes and like they just talk about like some crazy trauma they've been through, and I feel like there's people who like, you know, don't have that first of all like that social interaction, so they're not socialized, and then they carry with like sad to say like they carry that, you know, hurt or trauma like for the rest of their lives, and they never have that fixed. And I just feel like dance, like it just forces you to be vulnerable. Even the most antisocial dancers like that we've met were like they either don't like Jose because he's too handsome or whatever. He gets all the girls.
That's reasonable. I mean,
That's reasonable. I hate that guy too, actually, like low key. But yeah, it's just like even the most unsociable people, like we can see minor differences like years down the road, or like maybe a year for me, but like just within a 12-month span, like they've become way more social and way more friendly, and it's just like like it's almost like you can't get away from that, you know.
Right.
And
it's addicting, man.
And that's so cool for anyone who's like really, I don't know, socially awkward or afraid to interact. Like I just think it's dance in general is such a safe space in its own self, you know.
And speaking of relationships, I know Antonio, we wanted to get into how you guys met. I know.
I mean, if you guys are comfortable with it, I mean, we don't want to.
Yeah, sure.
It was it was the club at 7. I'm just kidding.
It was a windy day, May 17. Just kidding. No, so it's funny. Actually, we've known each other for like 6 years. We actually started out as friends. So we were friends for like 3 years. In other relationships, we would just hang out, go dancing and everything. We both got out of those relationships, and then it was like, hey, I think I actually like you, you know, like as more than a friend. And we kind of realized like it was weird because it's like, you know, we were really we were always close, but we didn't see each other in that way. We were always just friends.
Literally just friends.
It was
like,
just friends
to the purest form.
And then it was like, I don't know, I feel like something clicked, and it was like, oh my gosh, like this person has always been here for me when I needed them, and this is someone that I've always wanted to be around. Like even when we're friends, it's like, hey, are you going to this social? Okay, I'm gonna go if you're going. And then it's like, so then I think once we were out of those relationships, it was like we had the capacity to see each other in a different way of like, hey, I actually like this person is more than a friend.
Right.
You know, so that's how we met. It was through dancing. We were just being friends first, and then. And then
we're such close friends that like I would have a breakup and I'd go talk to her about it. You know, like it was just like
call me and I'm like, come over. I got snacks.
So and then you like I would go. You know, I went to the guy she was dating at the time and to their apartment to just go chill with them. You know, like that's how like it's crazy because I'm like at that point I would never even seen it. You know what I mean? But then I broke up with my girl at the time, and then she broke up with her dude at the time, and then some time passed, and we kept hanging out. It's like, oh, hey, like we're actually really fucking close. That's crazy. You know, and things just kind of start forming, and we started dating in 2021, and it's been like about to be 3 years soon in August. And it's dope. It's like dope. I was sorry, I don't want to take your spot too much. Like it's crazy. Back in the day when I started dancing, and even years into dancing, I always told myself, I was like, I don't want to be in relationships. Like, I just want to go around, mess around, have fun, you know, just kind of meet people, you know? And then the more I got into it, the more I grew. I'm like, you know what? I think what I just didn't have before, even when I got into relationships, they weren't very long-term, you know? And what I started realizing is I just need somebody that I actually really like spending time with. You know, like something that actually like gets me, and it's like a friendship. And surprise, surprise, there's a friendship that I already have that I didn't even consider. And she's super dope, and we just click, and then boom, just kind of happens, you know? It's just crazy. Yeah.
Literally does the same thing for me. It was just that. And it's crazy because, you know, people say like, oh, you should be with your best friend like it's nuts the difference in a relationship when you have that established friendship where you don't feel like you have to, like we were talking about mask earlier. You don't feel like you have to mask your personality. He already knows my personality. He already knows I'm crazy as hell sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I could be goofy and weird, and he like matches that goofy weird energy because we're already friends. So we'll just be laughing about stupid shit sometimes, and it's but we get each other. We get each other's personality. So
Right.
it's nice. And then having dance on top of that makes it even nicer.
Shared hobbies,
We understand that when we're dancing with other people, that it's just a dance.
Right.
You know, where I know there's been I've had friends who've dated people like outside of the dance community that don't understand that and they don't like them dancing with other people. But it's nice to have a partner that understands it's just a dance.
Yeah. It's liberating as hell, dude, because I'm like, you can dance. And like, we both understand too of like, it could be like a nice spicy dance. It's all good. You know, I'm like, it's a dance, you know? And if we want to allow ourselves to be open to the dancing, we have to be open to most of the stuff that comes with dancing, right? Outside of pure disrespect, which is a whole different topic altogether, right? But, you know, if she has an awesome, like, super sensual dance, well, that's fucking dope. I'm happy for you, you know? Because I want to have those sensual dances too. They're, like, super vibey, you know? So I think it's really cool. I think we just kind of clicked on the fact that we're just kind of matured a good amount. And then we can still partake in the hobby that we love doing without much compromise.
Right.
You know?
I think that's super healthy because I know certain, even like dance couples where like as soon as people start dating in the scene, like I feel like some of them get constricted by like, oh, like, you know, let's say one falls like very good, you know, dancing sensually, like sensually in the sense of like performative, not like sexual, like, you know, like all up on someone, but like, I know, like, I get, like, I could, just observing, like, seeing, like, the tension that, like, maybe, you know.
You see somebody grasping nails,
right?
right?
You're like, oh, like, yeah, go have that dance. And then, like, she's just, like, clawing the table. Like, I just got to grit my teeth through this dance.
I can't believe you had connected with a person.
Yeah.
You're like, hey. You know?
I'm like, are you cheating on me? I'm just like, yeah. So it's, like, it's good that the conversation is being had and, like, you're both mature about it. Because again, it would suck if like it diminishes like your joy. I feel like you should be able to choose between, oh, am I gonna like quit dance because like my partner might get jealous or I don't trust them or whatever, versus like, hey, like we both like it and like we both have feelings for each other. These are the realities, these are the boundaries, and like as long as there's respected, like it's cool, you know?
Yes, and we've talked about that. And it's like we're okay dancing with other people. If there's anything that ever one bothers the other one, then we have a conversation. And then, okay, so this is a boundary. We set that boundary and then there. But, you know, I love that. I don't have to worry about him being like, you can't dance with that guy.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, it's just a dance.
Right.
Like, I know he's coming home with me at the end of the night. I'm going home with him at the end of the night.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. It's just dancing with other people.
Yeah, dude. And I know there's a lot of dance couples too that like, it's always the same topic as long as you communicate and as long as you guys can have like an actual like one-to-one, no bullshit, let's just chat.
Yeah.
Because it's for both of us, right? We're both trying to figure this out. Then there's really there's no downside to just talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the cool thing is, I'm like, we've had maybe like one conversation before, really, in the years of like dancing. I'm like, it's not often enough that we really have to visit it because none of that stuff even happens.
Right.
Like we never even really have to visit it, but it's nice to know that if we do, there's an option to talk about it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because like in terms of like, I know we've talked about it before, but like dating and like the dance scene, I feel like a lot of it is just projection in the sense of like people talk about, oh, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of cheating, there's a lot of insecurities and stuff. It's just like with anything. I just feel like they just need to have that conversation, or they just need to work through those issues or those fears, whatever they may be. Because like, if you remove dance, like we would just look at that relationship as like, oh, like you need to work on yourself or something.
100%.
But because it's dance, it's like all of a sudden it's like sacred for some reason.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, I just find like that's like a coping mechanism. I don't know.
That's true, dude. It's just extra stuff being brought in, right?
Yeah.
It's like, just work on yourself, man. You know, it's like that you're bringing that stuff. It's not the dancing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I know with Ross and Jahaira, we talked about just like kind of they have to kind of limit their time as far as like kind of having alone time. Do you guys feel like you guys have to have the same thing as far as like you guys have to have your own separate time, or do you guys think your relationship kind of caters to just like you guys are okay with just being together all the time?
I think we naturally get alone time because he likes to do like his research on the computer, or if he's like gaming or anything. And like when I get home from work, I like to just relax and watch Netflix. So it's like,
So naturally,
we naturally have like our own separate alone time, and then we'll come together and be like, okay, like now let's watch this show that we're gonna watch and catch up before we go to sleep, and then we'll have our like together time. So I think we naturally just get like our own separate time.
And do you guys think that's like kind of like necessary to have sometimes, or?
I think for me, yes.
Yeah.
I need my alone time for sure. And I think since the beginning too, I kind of got the vibe right away that she's okay with me taking my time. So it's not even been like we need to have a full conversation, because every time that I've been like, all right, I'm gonna go basically fuck off on my own here and do something, you know. She's like, all right, you know, like super chill, no issue, and she'll do her thing, and then just come back when we're both kind of.
And I like having my alone time too. I'll just go shop. I'll be like, all right, I'll see you later. I'll go do some shopping. Then I'll come home.
Which is extremely healthy.
It's very healthy. I mean, you know, don't go crazy. Just a little bit.
But yeah, man, I'm introverted. So earlier I was talking about how, like, I learned to be slightly more extroverted, right? But at the core, dude, like, I still like my alone time.
Right.
I like just been doing me and doing, you know, my stuff, you know?
What kind of stuff puts you in a position where it's, or what stuff is it that you like to do? You said research. What do you mean?
Yeah, like I'll just get on the computer. If I want to learn about things, I'll look stuff up. If I want to learn how to get better, for example, like gym stuff, I'll look stuff up. Just, it's not always research, you know, sometimes just bullshit. It's just YouTube and, you know, all that stuff. So.
That's research. Yeah,
that's research.
Right?
So,
research in my heart.
I don't make it sound like I have like a lab hat and it's like, you know, but yeah, I just be on the computer, you know, like, I like the computer. I'm a tech nerd. I like to look into stuff. I like to build all this stuff. So gaming, you know, just.
Fun fact, he built his own computer.
That's not that impressive. She thinks it's impressive because
it's impressive.
That's impressive.
It's impressive.
you buy the parts
right?
online, you put it together.
But that's impressive.
That is impressive.
You know?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's like if somebody told you like this guy killed 10 people in Call of Duty, but they're not a gamer, right? but then it's like, oh, it's 10 people is not that much. You know, but to a non-gamer, it's like you killed 10 people, that's crazy.
No, that building a computer is like pretty.
See, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
What if you build it wrong? What if you put it in wrong?
Exactly,
Like, you
right?
assemble it wrong.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, take the compliment.
Exactly.
Thank you.
She's like, oh,
It's a
not
safe
that
space
cool.
here. This is also a safe space.
Yeah, I built a computer and with the original thought I was gonna game on it, but then I found out I don't like computer gaming. I like playing my PS5 more.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I like sitting down, just like kicking back, not just like being so intense on the keyboard, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so we do have our alone time, and then we have our together time. And we try to make sure that we don't overload ourselves too much, because we both do enjoy like just having time at home together and just relaxing. So we try to make sure we don't make our schedules too crazy, because once they do start getting too crazy, I know like me personally, I'll start to feel overwhelmed of like, I have too much going on. Like I'm working full time, I'm getting out of work, now I gotta go do this training, I gotta go do this, and then I'm just like, I just need like some me time, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Same.
So like what you guys have going on with Desert Kiz, you know, well, you guys are teaching and just growing the community. So your guys' relationship, it plays into that. Like, have you found that it's been a big part of your relationship, and has it been like something that's actually like helped it out a lot? Yeah. Like do the things feed into each other?
I personally don't think so. I think we probably would have, if we were pushed enough, we probably would have been teaching as friends too, if we would have never gone together, you know? No, I think our relationship just works because of like who we are just as friends already. The Desert Kiz just dance stuff, you know, it's just stuff that we happen to do together, but it's not like a staple, like a staple to our relationship. If Desert Kiz blew up out of nowhere, we'd still be together. You know, it's not like, it would suck because we like to dance the dance, but it wouldn't destroy the relationship whatsoever. Yeah.
Just because there's so much other like things that we have in common and that built onto our relationship. That's how we met each other.
I feel like a lot of the relationships sometimes put like dance as the epicenter of like, this is our relationship, this is where it all revolves around. And sometimes like they don't put like, let's do stuff outside of dance, or let's do stuff. And I think that's where like it becomes complicated. But I don't know. I can't say anything because I've never been in a relationship with a dance. So maybe Jose could probably talk about this more than I can.
Yeah, man. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think dance is a great way for me to. I mean, I'm very like purpose driven, so like I tell like even the way I met my wife, like we talked about what we wanted, and then I proposed to her within like 2 weeks. Will was a big part of that too, and we have like our own story there, but yeah, but like I don't know, we just had our baby like 2-3 weeks. And he's like 2.5 weeks old now. Thank you. Yeah. So dance, huh? Oh, he's being taken.
He's being a baby.
Yeah. He's being. But no, I mean, I think that dance is a huge part of our relationship. I think it's one of the things that we just always like. We just connect on so much, but it's not really the essential thing. It's not the thing that connects us, because when we like, I proposed to her because of everything like we wanted in life, like with the things we wanted to create, like our intentions with what we wanted to do, and also our love and like just deep passion for dance. It was also a big part. So it's up there in the value system, and I think we as a couple, we want to raise our kid to like learn to dance. Like we want to share that with him, or future children to come, and then she also wants to come get back to it once she feels a little better, or time opens up. So I think it is a big part of our value system, but it's not the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So like if dance disappeared, you guys would probably still be really solid, right?
Oh yeah, we'd for sure we'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, because we've like there would be times like I haven't social danced in like I've gone once in like the past 2 months to social dance. Usually I would go like every night. Like with Will, we go out every night. But
yeah, I miss that. It's not the same.
Yeah, but like we're solid, like we're working. We got our things going. We're building stuff over here. So yeah, it's relationships pretty solid without it too.
And you guys met dancing.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Dude, that's ballsy. That's ballsy, man. Like 2 weeks and he's like drops a ring.
Dude, I got so nervous when he was like, we'd not only would we social dance after like practice, but like we'd stay up after the social, like crackhead, just talking for hours, like, and we'd have these conversations when he'd talk about like Liz, and then he'd talk about like, oh man, I'm really feeling her and everything, and he'd ask, he's like, what would you look for? I'm like, oh fuck, you're gonna ask me? I'm like, am I single ass right now? And like, I pretty much told him like what I'd tell anyone. Like, it's mainly your value, like your most like I would just say like top 5 like values that are deal breakers, and then how you see the relationship, and then like third thing is like what you see in your future. Like, what are you trying to work towards? What would you compromise on? Like, what would be like your ideal like future that you'd build? And then like the day after, he's like, yo, I proposed to her. And I had so much anxiety. I'm like, I don't know. Like, and I like, I'm like, oh, what did I do?
So into like giving good advice.
I'm just like,
anyways, man, I proposed.
I'm like, holy fuck, like that's crazy. And no, but like, yeah, like Jose and Liz have something really good. And I think like, we actually mentioned this, one of our friends, we were talking about congresses, about why like some dance couples like kind of break up, or not even like pros, just like people who dance in the scene. Like if dance is all you're connecting with, I feel like, yeah, like you said, like that's a good like metric to like remove. Like me personally, I would not like make it taboo where it's like, oh, you can't date in the dance scene because whatever. It's like, you should, like, like having a connection could lead to something else, but it shouldn't just be based on dance, because like you remove that, everything falls apart, then that person is not for you.
Like go on a date.
That's okay. Yeah.
Go on a date, maybe like see if you can tolerate this person first of all.
Yeah.
And then go from there, but your dates shouldn't be we go social dancing and that's it.
Yeah, because that's that's the only context you see them. It's funny because like, yeah, some people are just like, man, like you dance so well with them, but then you get to know them. It's like, wow, this person's a train wreck. But I love dancing with them. The connection is like this.
what happened? Just like
I was like, I fear for this person, but connection, the dance connection is like, oh, like chef's kiss, like so amazing.
that's so true, man.
Yeah, all 6 of them out there, you're amazing, but Godspeed, like, you all need therapy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I guess dance isn't full therapy. You still need regular therapy.
Yeah, like,
you know?
yeah, that's not a substitute. Like, you know, seek professional help. Like,
That's fucking funny, dude.
oh my God.
And also, dude, honestly, like, also for the people that just go dancing and that's their dating, there's also influence because I'm like, if you're dating somebody that's like a dope dancer, right? You are being influenced by their like status in the community.
Oh, like,
So
they're
you-
like somebody.
Yeah, so you're not even fully like looking at them outside of the dance context. You're still maybe low key idolizing them because they're like a staple in the community.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like blinded a little bit. So you need to get them off like the hobby and just actually talk to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're just a groupie at that point.
You're just a basically, dude.
Yeah. You're not the only one if you're doing that. I'm
That
sorry.
girl has 10 dudes that admire her, okay? Like,
They all
man,
call her pretty. Newsflash. Oh my God.
But yeah, man. So that's cool, Jose. I like
Yeah.
that for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, real quick, do you two have any questions for us or just any messages you want to impart to our audience in terms of Urban Kiz and where the trajectory, where you see it going in the States or even Arizona? Like,
So,
what you
Urban
like to see?
Kiz
Yeah.
is more than walking, okay? It's more than walking. There's a lot more that goes into it. I say anyone who is thinking about possibly trying it, to just give it a try.
Yep.
I think if you don't like it, you tried it, you can say you don't like it, you know? But if you've never tried it, you should try it because you may actually fall in love with the dance. Just the way we did, you know? We didn't try it thinking we're going to fall in love with the dance. We just fell in love with the dance.
Yep.
So, and we're hoping that it continues growing. Right now, what we're seeing is that there's a lot more interest in the dance than there has been prior years. And so we're expecting it to continue growing. And we're hoping one day it will get as big as salsa and bachata here in the United States, just like it is in Europe.
Yeah. We're expecting it'll get as big as
Yes.
salsa bachata.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, just mirroring what she said. Super dope. Even for dudes, I think guys are scared of this dance because it doesn't look super hype. But let me tell the guys specifically, I'm talking to the guys right now. Where's the main camera? I'm talking to the guys, man.
Yeah.
Women love a good Urban Kiz dancer. It's crazy. Like, you guys can even maybe talk to Ross about this. Like, going from no Urban Kiz dancing to Urban Kiz dancing, you go to these festivals and the girls are like tugging at you because a good lead is like a rare sight. You know, a lead that can be like minimize the movements and be vulnerable and be available for them, and then take them on a trip essentially within a couple dances is super rare. So I'm like, you dance this, man, it'll help out all your dances altogether. So just kind of like, we want the leads to show up.
Yes.
Because
I think
they're
that's why
scared
he-
of this because it's not crazy, like, you know, it's arm swinging and they're not hammering shit. So they're just like, that looks a little too tame.
Yeah.
Just check it out, man. You might fall in love with it.
Yeah, I think that's what Ross was trying to sell us on when we had them on. He's talking about how like you dance for like 45 minutes and like the ratio is like, I don't know, 3-to-1 for like follows versus leads.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's getting better though.
It's getting
right?
better. It is. We're
No,
getting
we want that because like the guys will be the hot commodity. Like, we want this. Actually, we gotta cancel this. Like, delete this episode. We gotta gatekeep this
Just
for the
hard drive's
guys, for the
corrupt now.
boys. No more leads.
That's hilarious, man.
We will take on Antonio and I because we're single. We will, but yeah, not all heroes wear capes. We will just all the follows. We will dance with you.
That's hilarious.
Just us two.
There you go.
There you go.
But that was the thing. So now guys, sometimes we get guys outnumbering the girls now in class. I think
really?
I think the dudes. I think we're maybe reaching a time in our life, I guess, where people are valuing like exposing themselves a little more.
Was that like switching, like following and?
No, I mean in
like
terms of
guys-
just showing up to class.
Oh, really?
Because the ratio used to be for every like 4 women, there's like 1 guy.
Yeah.
Recently, we've had some classes where the guys outnumber the girls in the class.
We
That's
actually
better,
had like
right?
an extra lead, and
yeah.
we're like, oh my gosh, this is rare. Like, so it's finally starting to like even out a little bit.
Because the stigma's going away, dude. The stigma of a guy that's okay, like doing things that aren't manly, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That stigma's going away. like similar into, I don't know if you guys know this, but similar to like nerd culture is also popping up a little bit. The stigma of being a nerd is going away.
Right.
A bunch of stuff that men have been kind of shamed for a long time is just nobody gives a shit anymore.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, what's something that
Anime? Did you say
anime?
Yeah,
If you're a
true.
dude that likes anime
Now
and like now,
Yeah, you
now you're
got
pretty
jumped if you like. You said you like Dragon Ball Z or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
you get ostracized.
That's our show right now.
Yeah.
We're watching Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm kind of salty over that because like we seem similar in age. Like, dude, you can talk about anime. Like, this guy got stickers all over his fucking like laptop. I'm like, I would have got killed for that.
Dude, yeah. So
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
what's happening,
changing,
yeah.
right? So it's changing. So people are being more vulnerable, and so maybe that's why leads are feeling more okay with
wait, how many stickers do you have in your car?
different dances.
Oh, right there.
Oh,
Yeah. He's like, that is nerdy.
Right there. The whole camera.
that's dope.
Yeah. Yeah. But what about like guys following? Is that is that not as
That
much?
is
Totally normal,
actually,
yeah.
it's
Is
been
that-
more recently. We've been seeing more leads like trying the follow role. It's
Yeah.
been more so follows leading.
Yeah.
Like the past few years where women are more okay dancing with each other, you
Yeah.
know? But now we're starting to see more men that are like, you know what, let me see what it's like to follow. I want to just follow. And they're
Ross is following.
Ross is actually, he's a good follow.
He's a
I've
good
let
follow.
him
I've let him
before.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a
See that
video.
video where
Yeah.
he lifted Ross in the air? There's
No.
one where he like
I'll send you guys
lifts
a
him
video.
up.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty-
lifted
that's
him like
pretty
a
good.
queen. I was just like,
Yeah, that's
Ross.
funny.
I said,
I like that.
I think he's gonna watch this.
Right?
yeah,
I think he's the only person I know that like watches it like regularly.
Oh.
damn.
He's
Ross
good
is
at keeping
urban
up on
kids
all that
nerd.
stuff. Yes.
Shout out Ross and
Shout out.
Jahaira, man.
Yes.
Love them. Yeah,
Yes.
they're good friends of ours, and
Yes.
you know, going back to Desert Kiz, we couldn't do it without them. They're part of
Yes.
it. Like they're deeply ingrained in Desert Kiz. You know, so shout out all the crew. Can I shout them out real quick?
Yeah.
Ross, Jahaira, Mike, and Nikki, man, like
We love you guys.
You guys are staples, man, in the community, and we can't do without you. So
That's dope.
Yeah.
I think just one last question for me. What do you guys see Desert Kiz and just the Urban Kids community like 5 years from now?
Ooh,
Or what do you guys
5 years.
want out of it?
I want to be able to create and develop dancers. So not just coming to weekly classes, but I want to see people actually growing to where one day, you know, we have a lot of students that could one day, if we want to step away and we're not teaching anymore, we know we have a community where people can step up and teach. So my goal is to develop dancers. So I want people to not just, oh, I know these steps. I want them to be into it and be passionate about it and be learning and striving to get better.
yeah, I want them to have similar experience that we've had. Like we've been dancing urban for at least like 5-6 years now, and it doesn't lose its excitingness. Like it's always, every time we go to a festival, like it's always a good time. It never gets dry, never nothing. So I mean, we can get people up on skill level to represent Phoenix a little better too, because we want good dancers. I think that'll be the goal. I think for the next even 2-3 years, just kind of get people like dope dancing urban kids, and they'll go out of state and they'll be like, oh shit, Phoenix has a reputation now. That's where you go for urban. You know, similar to like Texas right now has like
Right now,
a lot of urban dancers. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Hey, look at that.
Baby. Oh, what a cute.
It's a little one.
Oh my goodness.
You said 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2.5 weeks.
Oh damn.
What's the little one's name?
Jediah,
Oh,
That's
what a
cute.
cute.
Where's Liz at?
she's right here.
Oh, she doesn't want to be in the camera.
Yeah, she still needs to get ready, so she's not.
Oh, what a
Oh,
cutie.
cute. I love his
Congratulations.
eyes.
I
the
know.
Yeah.
Look at those cheeks.
Baby, that's what
It's like making direct eye contact. I see you through the camera. Man,
Oh,
Yeah,
So
good
chill.
deal, man.
right?
Yeah.
He's gonna be a superstar at 13. Watch.
Yeah, right?
True.
put it over
Yeah.
Kiz.
Yeah, I know. That'd be cool. That'd be so cool. Dude, I was gonna say, yeah, I know, like, I talked to Brandon about from Bachata Addiction about like how it's hard to like secure venues here in Arizona, because when I social dance back home in California, like I know like there's a smaller section for like the Zouk and Kiz room, but like it's always so cool going there because like you can kind of just like take a break from like salsa bachata and just like chill, and like we don't really have that here. Like just I keep thinking about like that one social in Mesa.
Yes.
We have that one room, and it's just it's like not even a tenth of like the main room for salsa and bachata. It was like I didn't even leave I did like one bachata song. I was in there like all night.
Yeah, dude.
I think it's called Dance Effects. It's across from Bonnie's studio.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Jose was there, but no, I'd like to see that. I don't know like logistically how hard it is to like host a social and all that, but having dedicated rooms is like I'd like to see more of that.
I'd like to see it more too, dude. Like
Absolutely.
salsa bachata rooms with like an adjacent room of like even Zook and Kiz. I'm like, that'd be if it happened more often. I'm there, man.
Yeah, because it allows people to just like instead of like I know like shout out to Brandon Sky for like playing Zook at Dave and Buster's, but it just clears out the floor. And I think like it's like having a room is kind of like I don't know in a sneaky way. It's like maybe let me just like peek in and like wander in, and then close the door behind them and like just like kind of just like flirt with ideas. Yeah, like, what is this?
Just like smiling and closing.
I know. I'm like I'm going to the restroom. Yeah, it's like so easy to like hide away, especially when like falls you don't want to dance with. Like just, I'll be right back. I'm going to the restroom and then just like hang out in the kids' room or something.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, kids' room has vibes though, dude.
That's true.
Yeah, and then like I don't know, like it's I think it's cool like just to have like other DJs like dedicated to that, and then you don't have to like wait for a salsa song, you don't have to wait for a bachata song. Maybe I'm being picky, but like you can just go to that room and like do your thing and like hop around, versus like someone just gets thrown into a Zouk song. They're like like I was waiting for salsa and now I'm just gonna stand out,
Right.
I feel like people are way more likely. It's way more conducive. There's a room. Just go in, try it out, and then
because you hit everybody's point that they want to get to, right? It's like
it's
the
like
salsa
way more
loyalists,
successful.
they're getting just salsa or more often salsa. For the bachata loyalists, they're getting the bachata. For the Zouk and urban people, there's that side room because they don't want to be waiting for the salsa to end or the bachatas to end, right? It just hits everybody's like sweet spot. I think.
Yeah, because they'll play at most like one or two Zouk songs a night if you're lucky, and that's like only on Thursday. So you're getting like 2 songs a night maybe or something.
Yeah. I wonder why it doesn't happen more often. Like it has to be a sourcing of like rooms. It's just kind of hard maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Brandon was saying. It's just here in Arizona, there's not that many spots that like are that cater to having 2 rooms, like big enough rooms where it's like
it would cost way too much because their money to be made is like hiring like corporate events or something big.
You're
paying tens of thousands of dollars for all this.
You're competing with the people you can't really compete with.
That's intense, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, closing statements from you guys. Do you guys want to say anything? I know we kind of did that earlier, but anything where like people can find you guys. If you guys want to put your Instagrams or
just plug our
Facebook,
stuff.
But plug in.
Follow me at Fernando.m14, like the World War II rifle, on Instagram. And then follow Desert Kiz on Instagram, please.
Desert Kiz. And we have classes every Wednesday, 8 to 9:30 p.m., okay? So it's a 8 to 9, 1 hour class. The last 30 minutes is just to practice what you're learning so that way it gets into muscle memory.
That's good. That's dope.
Social, We also have a weekender in March 22nd, I believe. We're bringing out-of-state artists. It's $99 right now, but it's going to be like, what's to be maybe 18 hours of social dancing or so, 7 hours of classes. So if you want to be super immersed in the dance, that's probably a good way to get it done. And it's at home, so they're coming to us. You don't have to spend expensive lodging or anything, just the $100.
Or if they want to come over. Bringing people out of state.
Exactly.
Or you can come through,
Yes.
So
come over where?
From other states.
Come other states.
We actually already have like 4 people that are coming out of state for this.
Oh, really?
They've already bought their tickets.
Wow, that's cool.
We're bringing really good artists, so you guys should.
They're good artists,
We should post this on our story because like the episode won't be released.
We've been.
Just link us the weekender. We'll just like post it.
We'll post it on our story. And we'll put
Appreciate you guys.
Promote it.
Sounds dope.
Yes, thank you.
That's pretty much it. Right?
No, thank you guys for coming. This was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to close it off, Jose?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. It was a pleasure having you guys on. Catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.